Hello folks and welcome. Pop OS, the GNOME desktop. Today I'm going to talk about trying to have some fun with Terminal. That's a box that a lot of people shy away from. You can do some wonderful things in Terminal. You can do some fun things with Terminal. So I'm going to approach some of those today. I'm not going to talk about every single command, but I'll talk about maybe some fun ones and some practical ones at the same time. So in either case, folks, welcome. Today I'm filming in 1920 by 1080. You can see the screen resolution on your screen. So everything from here is going to go actually smaller. But with that said, I've been asked this question several times in the last 4 years. I had a different YouTube site previous. What do I film in? I usually film in 1080 or 4K. You, however, as the user of this video, can change your video resolution for the most part. If you hit pause on this video or stop, there'll be a gearbox on your YouTube player, which you can click, and usually toward the bottom is where the screen resolution resides, and you can change that yourself. Just wanted to make you aware of that, because a lot of times when you're dealing with text on YouTube videos, they're hard to read. Not so much the video part of it, because a lot of people make videos out there for all kinds of material, but a lot of YouTubers also film in the same screen resolution as I do, 1080 or 4K. But I wanted to let you know that you have some control over that by clicking that gearbox on your player. You can also watch my videos on the big screen TVs if you have the YouTube app. Now, with that said, I do encourage that you read the About section on my YouTube site and also investigate the Community tab if you're searching for other material. All my videos are keyword searchable. And if you're not sure how to do that, go take a look at my Community tab. There are several things in there that I can give you tips on. All right, now that you have this information, let's talk about Terminal. So the Terminal box itself, this is NeoFetch if you're curious. That's the name of the command for producing that. So I'm going to punch up clear. There are many ways to close this box also, in addition to just clicking that X in the corner. You can use exit. This is a close command. You can also use Alt F4 to close any window on Pop OS. Okay, so lots of choices for you. However, the first thing I'm going to talk about is history. Not the history of the world, the history of commands in here. There are 32 currently, I can also edit these. And I'll show that a little bit later on. But more importantly, I have all kinds of commands that are in here. inxi, neofetch, cal. Some of you folks that are my previous subscribers probably have seen me use that over hundreds of times. inxi is going to be displaying system information, and the -big F xe is just cuts out personal stuff. But I'm going to be doing more having fun for new users. Again, this video is targeted toward new users of Linux in general, but new users of Pop OS. Cal and Fortune can be one of those two tools that you can have some fun with. The Cal would be using something if you're trying to guess somebody's birthday, day of the week kind of thing. And you can also put any dates and time in there too. And Fortune is just different sayings. I'll show both examples today. In either case, this is history. Where can you find history in your file manager? So again, adjust your your video player accordingly if your screen resolution is a little difficult to read. But more importantly, I am going to just resize this a little bit. And hopefully you've seen my videos on the file managers. I've got lots of different videos on, different distributions too. But knowing what I'm doing right here by using that, I'm using a combination between my keyboard and my USB-based computer mouse with a scroll wheel on it. You can also do it the old-fashioned way too, resizing these and also changing the way you view things. That's not the reason I brought you in here. I wanted to let you see there's hidden files and folders in here. How to view those, you can click the hamburger menu and click that, or you can use a keyboard equivalent called Control-H. I know it doesn't say that in here. Okay, Control-H. So anything with a dot in front of it is a hidden something, whether it's a folder or file. So I'm going to use .bash history, born again shell history, .bash _ history. That's where those commands are. These are all the commands that I punched into my Terminal box, and I can actually edit this. So before I do that, let me open this up again and let you see all the commands that are in here, right? Then I'm going to close that because I need it closed to properly have it save. So once it closes, it saves that file. So right now I should have, that should have matched. But I'm going to edit this while I have it open, just to let you see it's editable. So I'm going to get rid of everything starting from 15 down. And I'm going to highlight those and hit delete. And then I'm going to hit save and close again. Or could I use Alt F4? Absolutely. Alt F4 will also close this box, just like that. Now I'm going to open this back up and punch up history. But before I do that, let me resize some things. And I will drag this just a little bit bigger, just to make things slightly larger for some of you folks. So anyways, I'm going to punch up history one more time. Let you see that I have a reduction in commands, because I edited that file. That file again is .bash history. Alt F4 to close that box. All right. So let's perform some of these cutesy little things. So I could do neofetch. You already seen, right? Oh, so let me not do that. How about inxi? Inxi with an option of big F xe. That dash big F xe, all it does is say don't display personal information, but this is system information. If you're a previous subscriber, you probably have seen me use this 100 times on other Linux distributions. Kernel information, desktop, distro, base, even motherboard information is listed here. CPU, graphics card, and etc. All right. Now I am going to hit enter, go to the bottom and punch up clear. Then I'm going to take my finger and press the upper arrow key on my keyboard repeatedly, and it will display the previous commands that I've used. Now I'm going to press the down arrow key on my keyboard to go back the other way. This only works if you have commands that you punched into your terminal box. If you don't have any, it's not going to display them. But this remembers the keystrokes and, sorry, not keystrokes, commands that I punched in, even the misspelled ones. All right, so far so good. So clear just means clear screen. Exit means close the box. Also Alt F4, or close the little guy down here. Let's talk about Cal for a second. A lot of people that have never seen any of my videos always laugh at this, going, okay, he's got a calendar. Whip-de-doo, I got one right here. Yeah, but mine can do something a little bit special. Mine can do history of dates and produce the day of the week. So example of that, I'll put in cal and space, one space. And then I'll talk about 1 through 12. In other words, the numbers of the month, 1 being January, 12 being December. Or you can also use 3 letters. So I'll show both examples. The first one, I'll just do cal, space, the number 1, and then we're going to make up a year, like 1965. So if I had a friend born in January of 1965 and that friend was born on the 19th, he or she was born on a Tuesday. I'm going to use the upper arrow key on my keyboard to repeat that last command. And then I'm going to use the backspace keys on my keyboard to go back all the way to cal and put in 1 space and type in the word JAN, also for January, but this time a different year, like 1988, for instance. Coincidence, they both fell on a Friday was the first day of the week. That's kind of interesting. Anyways, I have a friend born January 1988, family or friend. And that person was born on the 27th. They were born on Wednesday. Let's do some history and our stuff in time. But let me punch up clear first, just so we have a clean slate. So cal. So for you folks born in the United States, July 4th, 1776, fell on what day of the week? You can use the internet, of course, but this can do this a lot quicker. That particular day fell in on a Thursday, July 4th, 1776. That's what the calendar is here. You can do this thing to any day or anything in time. So if you put in like Cal May, 1556, for instance. Let's try that a little bit. Let's say you're looking for a date and time. And I know a lot of the folks that use Pop! OS are research people. and they're maybe looking at dates, whatever your thing is. This is the calendar from May 1556. So if you're looking for what day the 13th fell in on, for whatever reason, it fell in on a Wednesday in 1556. Just having some fun with calendar, folks. Now I'm going to punch up clear, or should I use the upper arrow key to repeat those last commands? All right, another one that some people find fun is a fortune. And it will either tell you it's not installed, or it will just start giving you all kinds of weird things like that. And if I hit the upper arrow key to repeat that, it gives me a different saying. And upper arrow key on a different saying. This can go on forever. And some people call it addictive. So I'm going to punch up clear. So here's another command that a lot of people that are used to terminal are familiar with. Htop. It's a process monitor. It's built into Linux. I'm going to use Q to quit. To stop it, in other words. There's also Htop. What if you don't have Htop installed? Well, it's going to tell you how to install it. That last line says sudo apt install Htop. You can also install Htop through the pop shop. Right here. I could install it. But I'm not going to do it through the pop shop. I'm going to do it through terminal. Now, here's my speech on, I've been around Linux for over 25 years. Been around Linux ever since it was founded, which is over 25 years. But anyways, there's a lot of things you can post off the internet that you can copy and paste stuff into this terminal box. My suggestion is be careful. Not everything is what it seems. And there's a lot of people out there that do that to get their jollies, as one would put it. To have fun with you. And you end up destroying your partitions and destroying your files and etc. So just be careful with commands that you cut and paste off the internet into a terminal box. With that said, this command is giving you a hint inside your computer. It's giving you the tip of how to install Htop. So let me break the line down for you. If you are, again, this video is made for new users, so I'm going to assume that a lot of you folks that are watching this have never dealt with any of this stuff. Sudo means super user do. It gives me elevated privileges to do a function. In this case, to do an install. So sudo means super user do. I put a space and then I put apt space install. So the package manager that is going to be installing that application called Htop is the command for that. Apt install. Apt space install. And then another space, and the name of the application or program is Htop. I could type this in on this next line. Or I could drag the whole line with my mouse and right click and copy this. And then click again in here. I know this is silly, but you need to do this if you're going to do this. And hit paste. Or you could just type it in yourself. That's all up to you. Now, anytime you perform a sudo command with this box open, it's going to ask for a password. If you do another additional sudo command after this installs, it's not going to ask you for that password again until you close this. Does that make sense? This is called a session, or you're having your terminal box open at this current time. So you're performing different actions, in other words. All right. So right now it's going to ask me for my password when I hit enter. And Mr. Max is our user for today. So I need to put in Mr. Max's password. Mr. Max is just a made-up name. And if everything takes off, if he gives you an error, you may want to check to make sure you're on the internet, because it does go and look for software, well, where your regular software comes from PopShop. Now I'm going to rerun Htop. This time it should take off, and it's a kind of a fancy version of Top. I'm going to hit Q. I want you to also notice that I'm going to open up PopShop on purpose and type in Htop. And what you're going to see in there, again, this is for new users, you'll see that this is installed. And it has an uninstall command. Just wanted to point that out. So that's Htop. What if I needed to know more about these commands and other stuff? Well, let me first punch up clear because the screen is getting busy. And let's talk about man. Man stands for manual pages. A lot of commands can be found using man pages or manual pages. I'll do man ls, for instance. that says list directory contents. That's one of the first commands that a lot of people learn when they are using terminal, is the ls. Now, the white line at the bottom gives me a clue of how to get out of this. It's press H for help and Q to quit. It also shows you like the name of the command, and the ls space option would be like a -A for all. I'm going to hit Q for quit. So I'm going to do an ls space -A, just like the example. And there is also the bash history there with a dot in front of it. That's where my commands are. The history commands. Remember when I did this? Okay. That file is producing that, or that file is where the stored commands are, is .bash history. That's where these are stored. All right, so that's the history command. Now, how many things can I do with ls? You'd be surprised. So in addition to doing just list your directory and change into directories and stuff like that, and not all commands have a man page. Let me give you an example of man cd. Nothing found. However, you can use the cd. CD, and I'm going to put a big M because there's only one that starts with an M. That's a folder, by the way, or a directory, music. I'm going to use the tab key, and it types the whole word out for me, and I'm going to hit enter. That's my music folder. And if I do another ls, the stuff in blue are folders. The stuff in white is a file. Let me show you the example using the standard file manager. I'm going to turn off my hidden, Control H, and go into my music folder and just compare some things for you. This is hard to see, but more importantly, it starts with Acoustic Alchemy. That's the name of the album. It's right here. And then Without Rain and so forth and so on. The one in white is this PDF that I threw in there just as an attention getter, along with this mouse. Mouse pointer. This is a non-standard mouse pointer if you're curious. But anyways, that just shows me I have one document out of all these folders, or directories as Linux calls them. I'm just showing you the example. How do I go back to the main folder, or main directory, or home folder? CD. Change directory. And you remember there is no manual pages for CD, but there is a manual pages for ls. And all the other options to go with it. I'm using the scroll wheel on my mouse, and it's quite extensive. I'm going to hit Q. Did you also know you can do ls something else? Like I'll do ls USB, and you probably guessed it, list USB devices. How about, I'm going to punch up clear, and do another ls CPU, Central Processing Unit. In other words, your microprocessor. Let's see what's in there. Oh, I'm using an AMD Ryzen 5, and then I get more information, probably more than most people need. I'm going to punch up clear, or do I want to just use the upper arrow key on my keyboard to go back to that command? That's what I want to do. ls CPU, ls, how about PCI? There are many, many derivatives. That's probably too much information that most people need. There's a lot of info in here. I'm going to punch up clear manually, or try that manually. What if you misspell stuff? Well, it doesn't understand the command. Okay, so everything counts in here. So we have also, who am I? What does that mean? It's the logged in user, if you're just wanting to re-verify who you logged in as. But let me give you a clue how to read this line. So Mr. Max is Whoami. That's the name of the user, at, and the name of the computer. In my case, it's Pop OS, Pop-OS. You can name your computer different names. The $sign means I'm at my home folder. So if I were to do another ls, and I'm going to do a cd, and now what if I try to cd into documents, and I try it this way? You think that'll cd into documents or change directories? No. It'll say no such file or directory. Why is that? Because it's spelled in a lowercase. Your document folder is spelled with an uppercase D. So let's do cd, uppercase D, And instead of me typing the whole word, I'm going to cheat. I'm going to use the tab key. So you press it once, it normally will pause for a second because it doesn't know what you're doing. If you press tab again, it's going to say, okay, what exactly are you looking for? Are you looking for desktop, documents, or downloads? I need more information if you're going to use the tab. All right, so the D started there. So desktop would be DE. The documents both start with DO. There's DOC and DOW. In other words, documents and downloads. So even if I were to do DO and then tab over again twice, it's going, okay, I still need more information because there's two matches, documents or downloads. Which one? If I put an extra C in there though, and then hit the tab key, now it types out the whole word and I can hit enter. Now I'm in documents. CD back to the main folder, do another LS. And this time I'm going to do music. There's only one folder that says music or starts with an M as in Mary. CD space uppercase M tab and enter. Now I'm in music. LS. We were in there earlier. CD backwards. So man pages. Man for LS exists. Hit Q. Man pages for CD, I get nothing. So not every single command is in here, but there's quite a few things that are. You may have heard of Top. Okay, shown that already. Man, Top. Okay, display Linux processes. We can also do the man Htop. Htop. And interactive process viewer Htop. You get where I'm going with this, I hope. So Fortune is another one that some people are familiar with, if I haven't mentioned this already. What if you didn't have it though? And it'll say, did you spell it correctly? Because it's asking me, do I want to install this thing? I misspelled it on purpose, just to let you see this. That has a Debian name. Debian package name. Sudo apt installs the command for it. But it's not spelled correctly, so. Now it's spelled correctly, because I have something that today is the first day of, okay, whatever. And then I'm going to hit the upper arrow key, and I get a different saying. And upper arrow key, different saying. Upper arrow key, different saying. That one's kind of weird. Another Mark Twain saying. Why did the chicken cross the road? Okay, that's too corny to see his friend Gregory Peck. You get the idea. Again, you can be here a long time. Now, we have history again. The history of commands can be found here. The history of commands can be also found, Control H, here. Again, these are editable. The reason it hasn't saved the file yet is because I haven't closed that. I want you to see there's 65 items in here. And I currently only have 13. So I'm going to close this and I'll walk over to here and I'm going to perform an exit command to close this box. Then I'm going to reopen this file. Now I have lots more goodies. So that's one of your clues is if you're trying to match this up, you need to have the terminal box closed for this thing to properly save your history for Bash, Born Again Shell. So far so good, hopefully. Now that I closed the box, I'm going to have to do my little special plus stuff to try to resize this box so to make it a little bit larger for your viewing pleasure, as one would say. So there are a lot of different commands in here. There are a lot of commands like cp, rm. Those would be copy and remove commands. Be extremely careful of copying and pasting stuff off the internet, because there's a lot of people out there that are wanting you to copy and paste commands off the internet, and they get their jollies off of you destroying your home folders and stuff like that. Always be aware of your source that you're copying and pasting stuff when you're dealing with copying and pasting commands into your terminal box. Because yes, you can go onto the internet and copy and paste commands. So how long have I been doing this stuff? A lot of people usually ask. I've been doing this for over 25 years, ever since Linux was around. And I've been around computers a lot longer. But more importantly, heed the advice that you've heard over the years. Be careful of the stuff you get off the internet, especially when you're copying terminal commands into your terminal box from the internet. So we can do all kinds of things like ls. You can do the ls PCI for PCI buses. We could do punch up clear. We could do calendar commands. We could do a lot of different things in here. There are tons and tons of different commands out there. And yes, I will advise that you go look on the internet for the commands themselves, as far as what they can do for you, not the actual complete statements of wiping out your home directories and stuff like that. That's what I'm referring to. But there are a lot of reputable sites out there that'll tell you about terminal commands and how many are out there and what the most popular ones are. Just be real discerning when you're typing in commands. Make sure you understand what they do before you execute them. And again, if the command exists in the man library, like if you're wanting to know what the ls means, type in man first, then type in ls. Okay, it'll tell you what that command does and all the options to go with it. And then there's some, as one would say. And if you're looking for system information, I'm going to hit Q for quit. There's many ways to get system information. You can go to your regular system settings, scroll down to the bottom, for instance, and hit about. You can get all kinds of stuff in here. If that's not good enough for you, you can also get information in here. You can use NeoFetch for one. And if it's not installed, what does it have you do? It'll tell you how to install it. Okay, so you resize this box. I think I made my text a little too big today. Go the other way. And then, of course, there's the inxi. And again, I do believe for this distribution, you actually have to install that. But that's also a wealth of information. And again, I used to use this pretty heavily on my previous YouTube channel. These are just two simple commands to get system information. There is all kinds of stuff in here that you can get. But I am not going to sit there and bore you to death with a ton of different commands. I just wanted to punch up a couple of fun ones. Again, try cal on your friends or family. Just put in cal. The month, doesn't matter if it's in this format or the number format. Sorry, not F2. 2. And then whatever year. And then you can guess at their birthday, day of the week. And then don't forget about fortune if you want to have some trivia fun. Thank you for watching, folks, and take care.